Welcome everybody. I think we're live. I'll just wait for a few to hop on. It says 0 people viewing, but I have been pretty heavily shadow banned these past few days, more so than ever because of some of the things I've put out there. Really heavily shadow banned. So welcome. It says now there's 11 people on, so great stuff. If you're watching this on playback, that's wonderful. A lot of people didn't get this message. A lot of people don't see the messages that I put up for the courses. So this is an introduction into tarot. So tarot cards. So what time are we on? 58. We'll just wait another 2 minutes and then I'll begin with a short story, true story, about tarot cards, which I always like to do, and I always like to bring a set of tarot cards out with me when I'm doing the courses. So yeah, it's been a lovely day today. I changed the background a little bit. You can see that in the background there's one of my paintings from Thailand. I used to sell them online at one time, and in here, beautiful, beautiful, and every single brush stroke has a prayer in the painting. Fabulous. He once was a monk, a Buddhist monk, and then decided to fall in love and get married and have 2 children. Walked past his beautiful shop one day and just fell in love with his art. So yeah, that depicts the energy of the dragon with the yin and the yang. So the message with that is find your inner power from the yin and the yang within. So we all have light and dark inside in the sense of energy. So we have to utilize both one way or another. So sorry about my throat is a little bit croaky today. I've been doing too many videos ready to go to Bali. So I'm making lots of videos. So while I'm in Bali, I can just upload them. So it's always nice to do that. Especially if you're traveling for 24 hours. So it is now 8 o'clock. So welcome everybody. So I'd like to share a story which is in the book called The Diary of an Accidental Psychic. And the story goes that when I began doing pure energy healing, I started also using tarot cards. So tarot cards to me, as many other people, were kind of frightening, demonic, and nothing like angel cards. And I used to use Doreen Virtue angel cards to begin my journey of reading. And on a side note, reading cards are simply a tool, a way to help certain people who are not as, let's say, as highly attuned to their clairaudience, clairvoyance, and their psychic attunement. So sometimes we need a little bit of a helping hand to begin with. And this is a great introduction. A great introduction, tarot cards. And they're simply a tool. I haven't put these cards right for a long, long time. So probably wasn't that long when I was using these tarot cards and really enjoying it, understanding all about them. And I was in Tickle Pink. I'm going to really struggle with my throat, I think. Well, if I'm going to struggle with my throat, I'm going to have to stop because it's not going to work. That's weird. It was fine earlier on. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but this doesn't feel like it's getting any better. It's almost like somebody's stopping me. It really is. It's like somebody's stopping me. I know it sounds like a cop-out, but it feels like it. It feels like somebody's just trying to block my throat. Feels like my throat's blocked. It really feels like something's just choking. Nothing's in there. It just feels like it's choking. It's weird. Anyway, gosh, wow. Not like me, eh? This is a first. So anyway, I'll try and continue and see if I can get through it. So I remember coming downstairs and taking over the shop, Tickle Pink, for a while. And this lady came in who I recognised with her husband. And they said, hello, Mark. I used to live very close to them. Hello, Mark. I went, hi, how are you? Very well. How are you? Oh, not too bad. She seemed a little bit kind of down. And she said, what are you doing now? I said, oh, I've started doing some kind of psychic work, and I've started using tarot card. And she went very quiet, and her demeanour, everything changed. Her husband never said out. And at that particular point, I was very nervous, really, about tarot, but I didn't realise how nervous I was until her reaction. I thought, oh my God, she probably thinks I'm a devil now, you know. And they never said much, but they went out. And then I started thinking all sorts of bad thoughts, like, oh my God, everybody's, you know, they'll think I'm a demon now. Anyway, a couple of days later, it might have been the next day, a couple of days later, it was years ago. Again, I'm looking after the shop because my wife had gone, and I finished the end of the day to look after the shop because we were open till 11 o'clock at night, sometimes 12, because we live in a magical mountain called Mijas Pueblo. Mijas is M-I-J-A-S, Mijas Pueblo. And it's a whitewashed village where we have millions of tourists, so it's a tourist trap. So the shop was called Tickle Pink, and I'm sat in the shop again, and sure enough, the same lady and her husband came in, and she walked right up to me, and before she could say anything, I was apologising. I said, I'm so sorry about last night, and I'm sorry about the work that I do. I hope you haven't taken any offence. And she said, stop. No, Mark, no, stop. She said, I was just taken aback, and I'd like to share with you the story. And she said, I don't know if you know, but our beautiful son, Gregor, has passed away, and he was only young. And I said, no, sorry, I didn't know. I'm really, really sorry. She said, yeah. She said, he was in Scotland, and he worked on a fish farm, and he looked after the fish and all that, feeding them. And she was telling me the story that the thing is, on a night when he'd come in and to his house, and he had a hobby. So his hobby was Celtic symbolisms, and she said, and one of the projects he was working on for over 2 or 3 years, I can't remember whether it was 2 or 3 years. You'll have to read the book to know exactly, because that was really fresh in my mind then. And one of his projects was, and at the same time, she took out of a bag, wrapped up in cloth, and she handed it to me, and I opened it up, and she said he spent 3 years on a project, and she says, and I didn't know what to do with these, that when he died, these were what we took from the house. And I took them out, and they were tarot cards. He'd actually hand drawn and painted these tarot cards. And she said, as soon as you said that you do tarot cards, she said, I knew who I needed to give them to. So welcome to the world of Gregor's tarot cards. So I'll show you the tarot cards. I always take them out when I do a workshop, so you can see. See the symbolism? So this is all based on Celtic symbolism. There's the Fool. There I am. All seeing eye there, look, the Tower. All very interesting. To be honest, I've never really spent time looking deep at them and trying to understand them. I don't know why, actually. And, you know, my first mentor wanted them desperately. And she was trying her best to get them off me. So she could see potential in these as a new deck of tarot cards to be sold. And I wouldn't get, I'm the kindest person in the world, and I would give anything to anybody. But I thought, this is different. This is, you know, like when people give me a gift, I've always said, if you give me a gift and you want me to keep it, don't expect me to keep it. Because I like to give stuff away all the time. But for some reason, I just said, for some reason, I just feel as if I need to keep these, which is weird of me because I don't do that ever. But there you go. That's the cards that they go in here, and hey, they're sitting there. Some people say, why don't you get them done? I could easily get them done, but again, just, I don't know. So there you go. Lovely story about tarot cards. So I've got an original deck of tarot cards from Gregor. Thank you, Gregor. And I've treasured them. And I always take them out whenever I do some kind of training, any kind of workshops, or like today, an introduction into tarot card. Now, the reason why I do introductions of tarot cards, I do sometimes because I just enjoy doing it. Sometimes I'll do it because I just feel inspired to do it. And then when I feel inspired to do it, I send a message to the girls and say, will you please do an accompanied special offer on my 10-hour tarot online course, which is a video course. So the 1 hour, 10 of them, of all about these cards called the Carl Rohrig deck. And that's nice. Good start. Nice bursting out of strength there. Nice to begin. So basically, what I'm going to do tonight is introduce you to cards and to talk to you a little bit about them and how I work with them and how they can help you along your journey. So it's good to, I guess it's good to start with the first card, which is this one. So what you're looking at here, and I often use this as a wonderful thing. You see, what we've got there is light, and light smashes through that wall that surrounded it. Now, I often found myself looking at somebody and reading them and feeling their energy and feeling their heart, thinking, wow, you've been hurt so many times that you've created a wall, a brick wall around your heart, consciousness. And you've done that because you don't want to get hurt anymore. And you keep adding this, another layer of a wall around you. So to the point where your light is no longer shining. So a lot of people, when they get older, they don't smile anymore because they create this wall around their heart, which they believe is a protection. They believe that if they keep doing this around their heart, protecting it, then it won't get hurt again. But what most of us don't realize is that we create our own sadness, we create our own vacuum, emptiness, and we create our own dimness. And this is a beautiful card because this not only talks about the mind, because we can see wands, 9 wands, but it's also, it's the spark, the seed of light that is all creation, that is you. So you're part of that creation, you're part of the solar system, you're part of the cosmos, and you're breaking free, you're breaking out of that, the old patterns that you believed was for your own good. So you thought you protected yourself, but actually you've caused your own demise, your own sadness, your own blocks. So whenever I choose this card, it means that you're breaking free from that. It means that you're breaking free from the mind, which is also sabotaged by way of trying to protect. And emotions can sit in the mind as well as the heart. So there you go. It's a beautiful card. It's the strength card to me. It tells me that you are stronger than your fears. You are stronger than that what you believed was keeping you safe. So this is a good card. I love the card. Whenever you see a number on the card and it stands out to you, then repeat the number to your client. Repeat it to a friend or yourself. If you read for yourself, just write it down, that number. And just be aware of that number if you ever see it again. If it pops up here and there. Phenomenal, really, how they show us certain things. So it's interesting. When you look at a card like this, okay, a lot of the times when I see a card, if the card is shining really bright, it's normally a positive thing. If it looks dull the next day or the next client, then you work on that energy. You don't just see this card as what I've just said. It's only part of the story, because this card can mean 1,000 things. But this is a generalization of what I see when I turn this card over. So I could be reading for somebody on here now without them realizing. This could touch somebody's soul and think, yeah, I'm that creator of my own sadness. And I need to break free from that. But yeah, interesting card. So let's move to another card. So when you see this card, red, what does it mean to you? What does the colour mean to you? When you look at this man, when you look at his face, he doesn't look very happy, right? He looks kind of pissed off. He looks really frustrated. And depending on who you're reading for, he could look really angry. Depending on who you're reading for, he could look like he's an abuser. Whoever you're reading for, it could be like all of a sudden you look at him and you think, hang on a minute, I'm looking at this here. This reminds me of a pilot. And then you could, for some reason, just say, is he a pilot? And you go, oh my God, yes, he's a pilot. But then you'll read again for somebody else and you won't see that. And you'll see this black and white and you'll go, black and white. And then, oh, chef. Is he a chef? My God, he's a chef. So everything that is in the card is information that when you are aware or when you are drawn to something, then you kind of go with that. So if I say to you, this card is only for this reason, that's not how my readings work. They're not how I teach people. Be open to anything. So give you a great, for instance, right? I remember reading for a lady who came to me and she was a non-believer completely. And she came because a friend was sat behind her and she said, could you just share a little bit of information on this lady's boyfriend? And I remember it because they both started laughing. So I turned this card over and I've never seen this before. And I looked at it and I went, wow, his eyebrows are massive. And they laughed so loud. And just by saying that, the lady who was sat in front of me became a complete believer in that second. How on earth would I know that a boyfriend was from, I think he was from Iran, he was Iranian, and he had massive eyebrows and they were touching each other. And she explained afterwards that, you know, we laugh because his eyebrows touch one another, so it looks like one big eyebrow. And she said, then I realized that you were genuine because you didn't even know what you were talking about, but you were telling me everything that I knew who he was. My point being is, there's a misconception about readers, and that is that we should know. We should know, and the card is just like, forget the card, you should know. And like, no, there's some readers who genuinely just read and not know what they're saying and reading, but they can see what they need to see and share that with confidence, but saying, like, I don't really know what I'm saying, but this is what I'm seeing. I'm giving you information that I'm seeing. And for 20 years, I've read for thousands of people, and for the highest level of science, the highest level of teaching, academy, the highest level of whatever you imagine. And I just sit in front of somebody as if they're just a normal human being like me and you. I don't care whether they're trillionaires. I don't care who they are. I just sit and read for them. And it's amazing how one card can change for who you're reading for. So I would read for a lady, and she would, I remember this one particular time I read for this lady. She was lovely, but she was always upset. And she never said anything. She just came and had a read. So this one day I turned this card over and I said, and I saw red, but this time I saw blood in the red. And I thought, oh, there's something wrong with your husband's blood. And she just started crying. And when the reading was over, she said, my husband's just found out he's got leukemia. So the cards are phenomenal. You're not phenomenal. You are, to be able to have the confidence to read it and not be frightened and read it in a positive way. It's not like I said your husband's got cancer, and I wouldn't do that anyway, and I wouldn't see death because I only see life. So everything after this is a case of, what do we do with the red? Okay, so what do we do with the blood? And there's a problem with the blood. I don't just leave it at that. And you should never leave it at that. Your main principle in every reading should be find the answer to the obvious. So any idiot can point out truth of somebody, but it takes the genius to find the answer. So this lady then, who started crying, I continued to read, and I turned another card over, and I remember seeing that there was light at the end of the tunnel. And I could see why. It was a lot of light, a lot of sun, which I presume was vitamin D. There was a lot of health and well-being. There was a lot of clear in the body, of a detox in the body. So I didn't know her husband had leukemia, but what I was giving her was advice, many different forms of advice, of how he can heal himself. And the outcome looks really, really positive. You know, he looks like his blood will clean up, blah, blah, blah. I didn't know that they told him he had leukemia. I had no idea. But it's funny how that you get all this information. There were certain things that I was saying. I can't remember that many things, but it was true. In 2 years, her husband was fine. So beautiful, beautiful when you find out in the end that you can make a difference. So don't read for people just because of your ego. Read for people because you genuinely want to help find the answers so that they get up and say, no, I'm fine. Thank you for all that. I've got all the answers I need. I know what I need to do. Thanks for opening me up a little bit more and making me aware of certain things. And I'm good to go. And that's a good reading. It's a fabulous reading. There's too many readers who want to prove to you how brilliant they are. Be gone. Be gone. Be gone with your ego, right? That's not what reading's about. It isn't. If you want to do ego stuff, bog off. Don't come to my site. Bog off. Be gone with you. I have no time for that nonsense. But if you really want to have a tool that helps people that you love, then, like I said, I don't see death, I only see life. And there's a reason for that, because we all pass, and there's no such thing as death anyway. But look, if we're going to go, we're going to go. So let's try and make it so that the time that we're here, whether you're going to be 110, whether you're going to be 80, whether you're going to be 60, or whether it's tomorrow, enjoy and have the tools to have the best life you can and the happiest life, that's really good, up until the point that you were going anyway. If there is something that you turn a card over, right, I turn this card over, if there was something in there that I was like, okay, there's something here that's going to help my client by way of, there's nothing here that suggests anything negative or anything that would then, need to heal. I guess don't worry about legal issues. They'll all work themselves out if I'm looking at this. So legal issues can cause Alzheimer's, dementia. It can cause a breakdown in the mind. And I've seen this many times. So giving comfort to something that you think, if they're not careful, it could cause long-term issues. But we're not really saying that to frighten them. We're saying that, look, these are the things that we can do to help you along your journey. You can take them or you can leave them. If you take them, they will heal you and strengthen you and make your experience in this world a lot more pleasant. Or you can just let them go, get on with your life, and it might be a little bit more of a struggle for you. So the choice is always theirs. You give them choices in paths, and that's a wonderful thing. This is, I believe, classed as the Wheel of Fortune. I believe. I could be wrong, but I think that's it. Again, I'm not into tarot cards. I'm into my cards, and I don't look at the things as much as everybody else does. I get like cups. I get it. It's love. But sometimes I'll read cups of love and don't see love at all. I see something like really complicated and difficult, and which might be more of a sword. So I don't really look at that. So when I look at this, I see a gold ring. I see a gold ring in there, right? I see feathers, 2 feathers. That's normally a gold ring, 2 feathers. Maybe it's a marriage, or 2 people coming together to make a commitment, or 2 people in business. Who knows? It's a commitment of some description. I see barley there, which is grown, barley or wheat, which is a natural thing. So this is a natural thing that would happen. I see the cosmos in there. I see all the stars. So it's a divine meeting of 2 people, which has been preordained in some sort of way where it will happen in its moment. Some would call it luck, good fortune. And then somebody would sit down and I'd read it again. And if it's say like a man who doesn't believe in anything, I turn this card over and then say, I can see a lot of abundance coming into your life. And that abundance is flowing through so many different aspects of your life. And the more you become, I guess, the more you focus in these next 4 months, or we've got a 4 here, or I could easily come up to here and say, the X could mark as 10, as I see it. And there are 2 more. They change for me. They change all the time. I see so many different things in them. So, and then here we look like there's parts, but then look, these bits here, so all of a sudden start changing into coins. So every aspect of the card, depending on who you're talking to, can change. So whenever I see feathers, it's normally that you are an old soul. And I think we can agree with that. But then I can look at this card and read for a mum and then say, oh, there's a feather here, which is a representation of the spirit world. And it looks like maybe you have spirit family who are watching over you and protecting you. And they want to talk about a ring that you may have. This looks like a partner. It could be a husband, what I'm seeing here. And it looks like somebody is watching over you from the heavens. So the card can change depending on who you're talking to. Now, never be frightened of taking a card and then following up with another card. So I'll give you a great example. Okay, so if somebody says to me, Mark, in fact, somebody asked me a question, but not too personal. Just ask me a question, okay? And I'll see if I can start to look into the cards and see what I see. And then I'll try and follow it up with a follow-up statement. So just take your time. Don't rush. Think of a nice question. Nothing that's going to, violate anybody on here, you, or just a nice, simple question. It doesn't have to relate about you. It can be about anything, or it can be about you. I'll just see which one I'll try and choose. Okay. Takes a few seconds actually, because there's a there's about a minute gap in for the next question to be put up on the screen. Have you noticed that? So let's have a look. There's one come up here. Hi, thanks for the question. Am I going to meet and be with my life partner soon? So take this card here. So this card is a representation of you. Also a representation of mum. So there's mum within you, the energy of you within your mum. So this card talks about you. It talks about the strength that lies within you. It talks about the energy of love, kindness. It talks about the breast is normally about wanting to be loved. It's all to do with compassion, kindness. There's a lot of you can't see them at the bottom. They look like driving wheels. So you are somebody who takes control of your life. You have to. So this is like you're not the partner or whoever you're with would have to understand you as a person of somebody who obviously you would like to be led and taken by the hand and cared for and loved and respected. For sure you are, but you still are a driving force. It means that you're a powerful soul, you know what you want, and you've got your own mind, and you're easily in this world to take control of your own life. A very powerful energy here, which comes from your third eye, which means that you're extremely psychic and intuitive. And yes, you're beautiful. So to follow through with that card, which is great because I never got the answer in this card, and it doesn't scare me because I don't have the answer in this card. I simply tell you who you are and how spirit sees you, and I move to the next card. So this card is normally a representation of something new that changes within your life. It could be that you are on a path of relearning, rethinking, or it might be re-understanding. So your wisdom on this path, this journey, could be that you're rethinking who you want to be with, you're relearning who you want to be with, but it's also, again, what's screaming out at me here is that I'm seeing you and a partner, a soul partner, possibly. Here is, this is you. Hang on, this is you. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the red, this is you. And the yellow is somebody who's also on the same path as you. And what's happening is you're both searching for each other. And you could be halfway, you could be whatever it is, but you're both like trying to search for each other. But the beautiful thing is that you're two of the same flower, and you come together to make a flower. And I see the 6 because it could be now, within now and the next 6 months. It could be 6 weeks. But whatever this card is a representation of, it's the two of you already know, and you're both on the same path of what you want. Without knowing, you're coming together, and eventually you'll meet each other and become the flower. And that's a beautiful thing. So it already is in the making. It's already happening. So a lot of the times we've just got to trust in that. And if I was reading for you here and now, personally, I would say, this looks beautiful. You have nothing to worry about. You've nothing to try and fix. You've nothing to try and work out. But just know that the journey that you're on is without doubt. Both of you are on the same journey together. So you're going to meet at exactly the same moment when you are both ready to meet. It's the perfect moment. So I would say personally that this is a definite yes. You will meet your life partner. There is a number 6 there, which is always a good thing. I never see in years. I only see in days, weeks, and months. So this could be a wonderful thing. What I would finish off with this card is you have to let go of looking or trying to think about it, but just enjoy yourself for the next 6 months, because once you've got there, whether it's tomorrow, because I don't know how far you are on this labyrinth, how far you're in, it's not showing me. So enjoy every moment, because when you're together, you might be thinking, oh, I really enjoy being on my own. So enjoy this moment of being on your own, however long you've been on your own. Enjoy it, because it ain't going to last soon, and then you will be with your partner, which is actually really beautiful. Enjoy your moment of your own while it lasts. And maybe that's a really important message for both of you and him, if I'm speaking to him as well. Enjoy your moment instead of trying to find your way to each other. It's already preordained. So yeah, so you can see that one card, that was a great example. And thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. What a great example for showing you one card, which you're introducing yourself to the client and you're trying to share to them who you see in front of you, which is you. I see you. And once you go, yeah, that's a little bit like me. I actually, yeah, okay, now I believe him. So I hope that what I gave you there was a little bit of, knowing who you are. I don't know who you are, but my cards are giving me that information. It's like, so you share that information, which it's not me who's trying to do it. I believe it's our spirit world who want to give you confirmation that we see you. And once you go, wow, he sees me, or the cards see me, then the next question to be answered, instead of just being full on and saying, like most readers, yeah, you'll meet him in a week. Yeah, no, you won't ever meet him. And all that, that's not how reading should be, because that is just ego driven. That is not out of the connection that we have with the cards. So a lot of people read cards wrong, and they use cards as a form of their own extension of their ego, wanting to prove their power to people. Like, I don't know this lady, like I didn't know any of my clients. I have no say either way. I sit on a fence and just share information. Now, if I would have seen in that card that nothing's showing me anything, I don't look at it like saying, oh, I don't see anybody. What I do look at is, what is it that needs to be done for this to happen? Now, when I look back on these two cards and see this, I mentioned your mum. I mentioned that you're strong, very strong. That, I mentioned a lot of things about you. If there wasn't anything in that card, I would use that information to help you change your way of thinking, change the way you feel, change your outlook on life, change your emotional state, so that then the change brings forward the right person. Now, has anybody ever noticed this, that you can meet somebody, but you meet them at the wrong time? And what that means is, like, I meet somebody, but I'm not in the same place as you. And then you look back in 5 years or 2 years like, wow, we'd have been ready to meet now. So sometimes we meet people and we're not ready for them. In a reading, when you read for somebody and you're trying to help them change their energy to meet a certain person, and the outlook, the brain programming, change that. And it could be as easy as trust in your path and don't look for it, right? That changes you, and you think, okay, I'll relax now. But before, you weren't relaxed. Before, you were trying, you were working hard, you were looking out for everything. Is it him? Is this him? And that doesn't work. And you go, I'm not bothered now. I'm just going to let it go. And when it happens, it happens. Now, your outlook, your energy changes. I don't want to be with a woman who's looking desperately for a partner. And it's all like, what's wrong with you? Why are you that's like for a man, it's like, you're desperate. It's a horrible word, but sometimes we feel like that. Wow, that's too much. Whereas if you think, you know what, I'm not bothered and I'm just going to have a good time, and like, wow, she's really lovely. And, I'd really like to be with her. She's just so happy. And like, what is it about you? Well, I'm just flowing. I'm just enjoying life. And, wow, I like that. I want to be with somebody like that. So what I'm saying is that we try and help people see that sometimes we are the actual problem to our path. And I've always been a problem to my path. I've always been a problem until I see it, until somebody shares something with me that helps me. And I think, oh my God, I can't believe I'm like that. Sometimes you don't even know what you're like until somebody points it out. And there's nothing more powerful than a tarot reader who can show you certain things without upsetting you, without making you feel bad, without telling you what you should and shouldn't do. So using stories, using, like, this is what I see, and using, just bringing forward some beautiful things. Now, I could have said to this lady, and I don't know why I said it. I said, but there's something about you and your mum, okay? Your mum could be the most beautiful person in the world, or she could be the most challenging person in the world. But what it could have meant to somebody that, wow, I am a bit like my mum, and maybe I need to change. Like, I'm like my dad, and I know it. I don't need anybody to tell me. But if I didn't know, and somebody says, wow, you're a bit like your dad, I'd be like, no, I'm not. And then I'd go away and sit down, and then I'd think about it and think, God, I am a little bit like my dad, aren't I? What does that mean? I need to change myself. I need to try and break the mold of certain patterns. So a reading can really help people see what they don't see. And that's the beauty about tarot card. It's incredible. It's incredible. So I'm not massively into readings anymore. I'm more into teachings. So giving you a general reading is something that really isn't. I get tired because it's a struggle for me to read these days. But I'll try. I'm not promising anything. I'll just give it a little bit of a try. Okay. So we're looking at Mercury in Leo lady. Okay, let's have a look then. So generally in these next couple of years, there's a very, very clear path, and there's two particular paths that I see, and they both lead to the very same place, which is joy, happiness, and enlightenment. Your path seems to be one which isn't straight. It's full of curves. It kind of looks like you're going to go all over the place. It looks like a good journey. It's not downhill, it's more uphill. But the reason why I see uphill is because at the end of these 2 years, you're going to look down upon that mountain and you're going to see what you've accomplished. So these 2 years are 2 years of inner learning. And it seems as though you're trying to bring clarity to the mind and the consciousness. So there's a beautiful connection there. But I also see somebody at the side of you, and that somebody seems to be of equal enlightenment and equally, there's a lot of clarity between you both. And it looks like possibly that you come and go. So it could be, I don't know if they're in your life or not now, but it looks like you're both very similar in energy, both similar in height, both similar in truthfulness, and you're both looking for enlightenment. You're trying to find your path. So it looks really beautiful. There is nothing here that I see is going to be challenging or anything that's going to cause any issue. What I do see is after 2 years from now, and I don't think this is 2 months, and I know I said to you that I don't speak in years, but this feels like years. It feels like a long journey, but one where adventure and when I say struggle, it's not. It's like I'm trying to conquer the mountain. So that looks really beautiful. All I see is a lot of love coming forward. I also see masculine energy around as well. I keep seeing adventure. I keep seeing different things. My suggestion is to do as many to-do lists as you can, in the sense of what you'd like to do, what you'd like to achieve, all the fun and the hobbies and anything that stimulates you, which then stimulates your third eye, which brings forward some amazing things. The heart, I feel, is an old heart. Yours is an antique heart. And that normally means that if somebody comes into your life, or if somebody's in your life, the way you would truly love to be loved is the way of somebody opening the door for you. somebody sitting you down in the seat and taking you out for a nice meal and being kind and caring, and to always think about you as they go shopping, and they think about you and they put all the food in the shopping basket for you, and then they put in the food for themselves. This is what I'm looking at, what your heart desires of love and kindness. And I see it. I see a lot of love and kindness coming into your life. So it's beautiful. Trust is, again, the key. When your eyes are closed, you see most clearly. So meditate as much as you can and bring forward all the joy that is there for you to unfold. So I think it's a beautiful journey. I see no negativity. I only see love, kindness, caring. I see the ability to give, share, and to enjoy. So this year and next year is a year for receiving and believing that you deserve. So all what you've done in your life is all that will come back into your life. So please accept with graciousness. That would be my short little reading for you. And obviously I can only give a short little reading. I could have gone into much more depth, but there you go. So let's get back to the cards then. Cards, important to know. If the cards fall down and one card is upside down or this way, you do not need to put in your mind or to program yourself to think that this is the card for them. So if a card falls down on the floor, you will know whether that has any meaning, and you have to have the confidence to break free from all patterns and teachers to tell you this is what it means. It doesn't. I have had many cards fall onto the floor because they accidentally fell onto the floor. So be aware of that, okay? It's a really interesting point. Personally speaking, when I read for somebody, I like to read for somebody on their own, right? Because I'm feeling other people's energies, and you're never sure 100% whether you're reading for the person in front of you or the person behind or next to them. So if I was you, I would only read for people in a room one-on-one, and that makes it easier to start as an introduction into reading for people. If there's 3 or 4 people around you, you might find that you won't ever read again, but you might have read for somebody else who doesn't even think that that's for them. So you might be reading for somebody else. So just do it one-to-one. The most beautiful thing to do is learn tarot when you're in a good place and you're feeling good. Don't touch the tarot cards when you're feeling bad. Don't touch the tarot cards, because I'm sorry guys, you will not be able to read them. You will read what you want to read, not what the cards tell you. Now, it's very easy. This is why I never liked reading for people that I knew. It's hard because you have to take out everything that you know about your friends or your family or your loved ones, and you have to read. Now, it can be hard sometimes because you can see things that, okay, I'm not going to say that. But if it's a stranger, you can say, oh, I can see this and I can see that, but not in a bad way. But it's easier to read for a stranger than it is for somebody that you love. I did read for people that I loved, and it is a challenge. It is a challenge. You've got to disconnect completely and not think about them as anybody other than a client, and you're just reading. So these are tips that might help you along your journey. Reading for somebody, I suggest, this is my suggestion, read for somebody, but don't look at them. Now, the problem with looking at people is you get this, right? Now, when you get this, it instantly will affect you. And you could have just finished off the sentence that they were shaking their head at, and then they would understand what you mean. But now you're so frightened because you see the shaking their head that you just won't, you'll go somewhere else. If you look down at your cards and just read, right? And however long you take, it might be an hour, it might be an hour and 20 minutes, it might be 2 hours, it might be 45 minutes, it might be half an hour. But my suggestion is to look down and just read. Don't look at your client. There is such thing as cold reading, and that is that when you look up and they're going, right, it kind of gets you excited, and then it tries to pump you up with ego, and that sometimes can then just throw you off course. Just stay away from people's emotions. Tell them not to say anything till you finish speaking. So I always used to say, okay, I'm about to read for you now. If you've got anything to say, please ask me when I've finished the reading. Please don't interrupt if possible, because it will interrupt my flow and then I have to start again. So after I've finished, anything that you want to ask, you can ask me afterwards, okay? Now, for 2 decades, I read for people, and when I'd finished, right, those of a mindset which is a high IQ, so it might be a doctor, might be somebody at Harvard who's a big businessman, they sometimes had a list of questions. And then I start reading for them, and they might tick, 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 tick. And I'm answering all the questions that they're asking, right? But I don't know, I'm just reading. And when I've finished, they might say, okay, I've just got 1 question, or I've got 2 questions here, or like most of them, thank you, I've got everything that I need. So I trust that when I read for somebody, I don't start fearing what they look like, who they are, what they've come for. I couldn't give a shit. I just sit down, read, give them that information, and that's it. Now, when I say I don't give a shit, of course I give a shit. But what I'm saying is the outcome should speak for itself. This is as much as I can give you. This is what I've seen. And then there are certain people who say, there was something that you said. Could you clarify it? So what was that then, sir? Sorry. You said something about my business partner. You mentioned that my business partner might be going through a little bit of a struggle in a few months. Could you elaborate on that? So I'm just going to take the card and show you now. Okay, so what I see here is that your partner is struggling very badly mentally, and there's something going on in his mind. He's struggling. I see a partner here who's really upset, his wife. She's very upset. It looks like he might be taking on a lot of stress. He might be really struggling with life, whether it's personal or business. He's not all together. Things don't look good, and it looks like there's a possibility that he might be having a breakdown. So we need to try and help him. So I choose another card. Let me get another card. Boom. And I would say, okay, so he's struggling. Okay, he's struggling with his life. It looks like his partnership is possibly that what is causing him the issue. So his partner here looks like she's really upset with him, which makes him even worse. And now the cups, which are shining in my eyes, and that means that's love. His love is dry. Look how dry it is. It's so dry that all the trees have got no water, and it's a mess. And I see all these cobwebs, so it looks like there's a lot of cobwebs in his mind, in his relationship. There's a lot of tangle webs here. So he's in a bad place. He needs to heal. So the guy would say, okay, that's really interesting. That's actually true, Mark, because his wife is like having an affair. Ah, okay, well, that makes sense. So any suggestions, anything that can help him? I get another card, read it. And I'd say, you know what? It's fine. It looks like that something's going to happen where he comes together possibly with somebody else who's more of his life partner, who's filled with love, and they're happy together. He's happy and he's strong. It looks like she trusts him, he trusts her, and it's a really happy ending, and it's going to be positive. So if you help him through this period of time, it might be 21 months, it might be whatever you feel it is, but help him through this period of time and he's going to be back on form. So now you've just helped somebody through a point where this guy was going to get rid of his partner, boot him out, but now the spirit world speaks through you to help this person because he's a good person and it's not his fault what his wife has decided to go and have sex with somebody else. He's going to take him a bit of time to get over it. This guy now feels, wow, now I understand why. I get it now. And I'm going to be supportive towards him. I'm going to help him through it. And shortly he's going to be fine. And he's going to be stronger than ever. And he's going to be a great asset to the work. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that how it should be? We help people. Too many readers would turn a card over and go, oh, he's bad, he's in a bad place, get rid of him. So the choice is yours. Do you want to be a reader like this, or do you want to be a reader like that? I know what reader I want to be like. And if you want to learn from me, this is how I share and teach reading. So I hope you appreciate this 1 hour of love and light. And I also would recommend wholeheartedly that many years ago, I was excited and filled with this kind of love, but much more. I was more aware of the cards. I was more excited. I was more filled with energy because I was reading at that time. And I decided to sit down on this screen and to make 10 hours with these cards and tell you everything that I see in the cards and share what I've shared with you for this 1 hour. So you've got another 10 hours. If you go to the link below, if you're interested and you think, oh, I really enjoyed this, Mark, I think I'd like to do more. Then what happens is we have a course on markbajerski.com, and the course is normally €300, but now it's half price. But also, it comes with a deck of cards, free DHL. It comes with some beautiful awakening sticks, which will help you connect even more. And this is with Moldavite. So you just use them, burn it around your head for about 3 minutes before you start. And it also comes with awakening oil, which is the cold press, beautiful, natural and organic oil from pine. And you rub that on your third eye, top of your crown, and sometimes here a little bit, and then breathe it in, and then enjoy the 10-hour course. And that's for 100, I believe, and £50 for all of that. So it's on sale now. It's for you or not. It doesn't matter. I'm offering it because the girl said, can we do a special offer? Because people were asking to do the course again. Lots of people are asking to do the course. So I've reduced it by half price, and I've also added the sticks and the oil as well. So that is from my heart to yours. I hope you appreciate this. I love teaching, but I think I was a much better teacher on the 10-hour course. But I enjoyed it tonight, and I hope you did. I hope I didn't upset anybody. I hope I didn't. My intention is always to make you feel good and to know that you're on the right path, and that these cards are 100% for anybody. And once you learn to read them after that 10 hours, they will help you on your journey like they do me. If there's times when you're struggling and you don't know what to do, and it's not that you're in a bad place, but you're just a little bit confused, you turn a card over and they have helped thousands of people, including myself. So it's something that I see as a first aid kit. It's just simply going to learn first aid is like going to learn tarot. There is nothing dark or demonic about it. As you can see, it's filled with love and kindness, and intention is always the most important thing. So head to markbajerski.com. It might be underneath here afterwards. One link to this beautiful 10 hours when I was at the peak of my reading times. And enjoy the course. It comes with a deck of cards, smaller. This is for you to look at, but they come with a deck of cards, the same deck of cards, but slightly smaller. And they're in Spanish, not English or any other. It's just Spanish, but you don't see Spanish. When I've been reading for you, don't even see anything in Spanish, right? You don't really look at that being Spanish because you're not looking for words per se, and there's a lot of English words in there. So they're fantastic. It's a really good course. And, I'm proud. It's a little bit raw. It's rustic. It's not like fancy, like the Pure Energy Healing course is fancy. This is just me on here doing this, showing you the cards. And I actually did it in this room. So I'm very proud of it. And I hope you appreciate it. And if anybody underneath here could just put like a little comment if you've ever done the Pure Energy, you can mention the Pure Energy Healing course, but if you've ever done the tarot course with me, maybe you could mention something in the comment section underneath here and what you got from it, so that it gives people confidence that they're not being ripped off and that it's well worth every penny. We have sold hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of the courses at 300. So this is a brilliant price at 150. So, and it comes with free DHL, which means that your products, your cards will come to you within a few days. So that's it really. And I'm so glad my voice was okay. So yeah, you know, I would never want to just leave you all in the lurch like that. But I was prepared to do it if I couldn't speak properly. So whoever helped me there, the oils, thank you, and the spray, thank you, and to all you out there, thanks very, very much. So one link below, and it's for the course. So if you want to find the course, you go to markbajerski.com and scroll down the homepage, and you'll see me in a purple. Am I in a purple shirt? No, I'm in a black shirt with purple background, purple, and all my cards. Just click on that, and the special offer should be on there now. Okay, so remember, what I think it's $150, and it comes with products, which it's a great offer. It's a great offer. You get free DHL delivery, and that can be anywhere between 32 to 39. So just that alone, plus the cards, plus the oil, plus the sticks, it's fantastic. You're virtually getting it at cost. So enjoy it from my heart to yours. All right, guys, I'm going. Take care. See you soon. Big kiss. Bye for now. Thanks for